Today we're going to be talking very briefly about the helmet of salvation. We're going to look briefly at the history of helmets and what they're for. I want to share with you 3 pieces of armour that I use from time to time and tell you a story of how a helmet saved my life. And then we're going to end up looking very briefly at salvation and what it means. And here we can see a medieval knight's suit of armour. And you could just imagine how difficult that would be to manoeuvre with such a heavy piece of armour all over your body. But look at the restricted vision of this piece of armour here. And there we have the soldier with the various pieces of armour and the Armour of God outlined there. Now you can see the helmet of salvation protects the most important part of our body, and that's our head, which contains our brain and all of our thinking. Here you can see a warrior fitted out in his full armour and has been in a battle. So having armour on indicates that we may have enemy. And of course, for Christians, our enemy is Satan, Lucifer, the devil, and the things that can cause us to be attacked by Satan include things like hatred and jealousy, being unloving, fighting, murder, stealing, godlessness, and being unkind, just to name a few. So we do have an enemy. The enemy is real, and we do need to be protected from the enemy. And we have a living and loving God who is more than willing and able to protect us, and he gives us all of the right pieces of armour to do that. Now, I wanted to show the ladies that, in fact, even the ladies wore armour when they went to war. Look at that spectacular costume there. Here are some ancient Greek helmets, as you can see, protecting the head but enabling the soldier to be able to see. Here's, again, a medieval helmet that a knight might have used riding a horse. And a little bit more modern, here we have a member of the Queen's Household Cavalry in London wearing a ceremonial helmet there. And just in the background, you can see a soldier, a British soldier, wearing a modern helmet with some camouflage on it there. And here we have a Royal Australian Air Force pilot, and you can see this lady getting into her modern jet fighter and putting on her helmet. Now, this is a pretty spectacular piece of equipment that she's putting on. Can you believe it? That helmet that she's putting on there costs $400,000. Yes, that's right, $400,000. And you might want to do some research and just find out some of the amazing things that helmet is capable of, apart from protecting the pilot. And here we have the great Aussie sense of humour. The RAAF have actually had a hot air balloon made into the shape of a pilot's helmet. Now, wouldn't that be so much fun to be floating along there? Now, I'm going to share with you now 3 pieces of armour that I've used from time to time. And here's my motorbike, and I'll share with you the armour I use when I'm riding a motorbike, when I'm using the chainsaw, and when I'm riding my push bike. This is my first suit of armour that I use when I'm motorcycling. The most important part is this helmet here. Protects my head and my brain. And this visor here protects my eyes. The suit has 3 protective layers: an outer protective layer, waterproof layer, and a thermal layer to keep you warm. Also, there is armour built into the suit here in the shoulders, the elbow, and the back, and on the pants in the knees here. And also, lovely protective adventure riding boots there, which also has armour and waterproofing. These gloves keep you warm and protected, and also there's armour built in to the gloves as well. And finally, these little beauties, they protect your ears. Motorbikes can be very noisy, and you need these to protect your ears.
This is the second suit of armour that I sometimes wear, particularly when I'm cutting wood here on the farm. And you can see again, the most important part is a really good helmet and also ear protection here. We have inbuilt earmuffs and also a screen to protect your eyes as well. Good safe jacket and some special pants here that will protect you from the blades of the chainsaw, and good safety boots as well. And some great leather gloves round out the armour when you're using the chainsaw. The third set of armour that I use is when I go cycling. And I just love cycling. And of course, the most important part of your cycling armour is the helmet. Gloves protect you when you fall off. Set of glasses to protect your eyes. And great set of riding shoes as well. I'm now going to tell you a story about a helmet just like this one that saved my life.
About 8 years ago, my wife and I were out riding our bicycles. Beautiful morning, we were having a lovely time together. And I was hit from behind by a car that was doing 110 kilometres an hour. I was violently thrust into the air and then crashed down onto the concrete roadway. My wife, who was a nurse, had assumed that I was dead and had been killed by the impact. As you can see, I did survive. I was unconscious, but did regain consciousness. And I have to say, I'm here today by the grace of God, but especially because a helmet like this saved my life. You see, a helmet like this, it doesn't feel much. It's very light. It's got polystyrene foam on the inside and then a very thin plastic outer covering there. But they are very, very cleverly designed to protect your head in the event of an impact. And that's exactly what happened when I was hit on my push bike. There you can see a picture of my wonderful wife on her push bike there. And you can see, of course, she's wearing her helmet. Not only is it the law in Australia, but it's a wonderful idea to keep your head and your brain safe there. Not only was I saved by a helmet, but my life has been saved by Jesus Christ, who is my Lord and Saviour. And here's this wonderful verse from John 3:16, which we all know so well. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And there, boys and girls, is the story of salvation, the helmet of salvation. When we have this in our mind, in our head, in our thinking, when it is the most important thing to us, what Jesus has done for us, then we have truly the full armour of God on. And I just want to encourage you all to make sure that you are covered with the full armour of God, but especially the helmet of salvation. This is the reason we live. This is our motivation for being, because we have a living and loving God who has made a way for us, a way of salvation.